Hello, in this video I would like to talk about the triple retrogrades of May. The current planetary retrogrades are significant because at the same time we have Saturn, Venus, and Jupiter all Vakri. Vakri means twisted because a planet is no longer acting according to its normal functionality. When planets are Vakri, they are retrograde. Retrogrades are all about introspection, internal functioning, and really going within. This triple retrograde occurrence initiates from the 10th to the 14th of May. Of these three, Saturn retrogrades first at 7 degrees 49 minutes of Capricorn on May 10th, and it goes through September 28th. Secondly, we have Venus retrograde at 27 degrees 41 minutes in Taurus from May 12th to June 25th. And then we've got Jupiter retrograde at 6 minutes Capricorn from May 14th to September 13th. I'm recording this on the 14th and it will probably be uploaded by the 15th. So Jupiter has just joined the others today in their backwards movements. So Jupiter is Ati Vakri, which means it's very fast in retrogression. Jupiter is Ati Vakri because it heads back into the previous sign of Sagittarius from its place here in Capricorn, while Venus and Saturn are retrograde, but they still remain in their respective signs. It's interesting to note that these retrograde planets will all be in their own signs of rulership. So Jupiter begins its retrograde in Capricorn, but then it moves back into Sagittarius. Saturn is in Capricorn, and then Venus is retrograde in Taurus. We can interpret all these Vakri planets to be in dignity by having them exhibit their natural qualities. It's better for a planet to be retrograde in its sign of rulership than another planet's sign. And it was expressed to me by a friend that this is like breaking the decor in your own house versus breaking the decor of your neighbor's house, which I found this analogy to be really amusing. So when planets are retrograde, they are not moving at their usual speeds from the Earth's perspective, which means they can't give the results that are normal in functioning. The reverse happens when planets move retrograde. Additionally, the energy moves inwards, and therefore its effects are much stronger. Right now, we can do some serious reflecting on the past and see patterns that arise now more clearly. It's important to be a neutral observer of your actions, your inner dialogue, and your thoughts in order for progress and growth to happen. So while Saturn is retrograde, we are asked to re-examine our priorities according to our work. This retrograde transit will affect the larger population. Jobs will open up, and work that was delayed will see an increase in activity to be able to catch up. This will accelerate our duties and increase our tasks. We will feel overwhelmed with the additional pressure of Saturn giving us more responsibilities at this time, but we will be rebuilding globally. So it can also affect the masses in a way where people will feel frustrated and could potentially act out or act upon their frustrations. So it's really important for us to pause, slow down, and discipline and organize our lives. It's very important to redo things right now and not procrastinate in finishing our tasks. Basically, just do the work. So the best way to use this energy is to slow down and take stock in order to get organized in meeting our goals. Sort out and organize your work in order to do it more efficiently, and you can therefore be more productive. Help those in need and give your time or resources to those who could benefit from your generosity, and participate or support charity work of some kind. It's important to tend to your daily responsibilities on a regular and consistent basis when Saturn is retrograde. We are really being asked to redo some work from the past and take our projects seriously. Now, when Venus is retrograde, we are being asked to re-examine our priorities according to everything that Venus represents, which is mainly money and relationships. This transit can bring issues to the surface for reflection upon areas of finances and love to be sorted out. Okay, so furthermore, Venus is Vakri in her sign of Taurus. Taurus is the natural significator of the second house of family and possessions and home. So it's best to reevaluate and avoid making sudden decisions around this area in regards to finances or home-related activities at this time. This can include makeover or renovation projects as well. This transit might be a good time to refinance and restructure our payments and our bills. Be mindful of your spending and avoid tendencies to overindulge in laziness or going overboard in comfort-seeking activities. Themes of self-love, self-respect, self-worth, and self-esteem really come up right now. The best way to use this energy is to practice extra self-care and be more forgiving and gentle with yourself, including those that you love, because Venus is all about love, right? And harmony. Soothe yourself and those around you with an extra dose of compassion, understanding, and kindness right now. In relationships, we should be careful to avoid repeating the same mistakes. This can be a season of breakups in relationships if it's no longer sustaining the people involved, to be quite honest. So it's possible that people could be strained in their relationships. There will be issues that come up that you'll have to deal with it. So you'll either work through it or break up at this time. That's very common. So take your attention off of others and invest in yourself right now. You are the most important person in the relationship. Don't forget that. In general, this is a time to contemplate the value of things. Venus signifies value, the value system. So this will include the role of people in your life and what it is that you value, how you value yourself, how you value other people. When Jupiter is retrograde, it affects businesses, teachers, and schooling. We shouldn't make any hasty decisions or jump into any investments right now. It adds pressure and stress to schools, children, healthcare, education. Families will be more influenced in this area as well, which we are already seeing and have been seeing for the past couple of months since Jupiter's visit into Capricorn. So Jupiter's affliction isn't eased with returning into Sagittarius. So it's in Capricorn, it retrogrades back into Sagittarius, but because it arrives back into its home of Sag with the tail of the serpent Ketu sitting there, it's waiting for him in his house once again. And Ketu is a natural malefic. So Jupiter will be with Ketu until late September, when Ketu finally moves out of Mula Nakshatra in Sagittarius and into Jyeshta Nakshatra in Scorpio. Ketu is still in Gandanta here, but at least he is no longer going to be aspecting Jupiter. And so Jupiter can really finish out his movement through his sign of Sagittarius on a better note than the initial movement. You know, Jupiter retrograde will be influencing you to go within and listen to your own guidance. It's all about introspection and intuition. Listen and observe. You may seek counsel, but it's possible that you will get caught up in listening to the wrong advice. That's very much possible at this time. It's important right now to remember that you already have all of the answers inside of you. Don't forget that. Everything that you need, you carry. Everything is within you. The best way to use this transit is to look toward meaningful activities such as higher education and spiritual pursuits. You will be re-examining your belief system and seeking greater faith. This is an ideal time to pursue your spiritual path, so make the most of it. So what does this all mean in general? It really means just be cautious, slow down, and take your time. Again, this is introspection time. It doesn't mean to do nothing, especially with Saturn retrograde. Saturn's asking us to do the tasks, do what's required of us. And Venus retrograde actually can make us feel lazy and overindulgent. So it's really important for us to really get out of our own way and do the work that we are supposed to do and that we're called to do, not procrastinate. Knowing that there are challenges ahead, we have to redirect our attention and shift our path forward. Be flexible and adaptable. This is a time to measure twice and cut once. The world is not seeing things especially correctly right now. Be careful when taking advice. again, go inward. When planets are slowing down, they are giving us a heightened awareness as they are in this higher state of awareness as well. So we will be able to observe and process. It's important not to rush forward blindly or push too hard. We should really avoid making any plans right now. After June, the energy is more stabilized and our ambitions and intentions will go more according to plan and more smoothly. If we plan during a retrograde, plans are subject to change. So it's best to stick to the tasks at hand and finish up unfinished projects and things from the past that have been pending. All of this retrograde energy this month is really just a precursor to the energy that is building up for the greater transits of June. On the 18th, we also have Mercury going retrograde. What I find significant with this is that all of the planets will be retrograde except for Mars at that point. So that's very significant. It's intense time. Coming up in June, there are 2 eclipses. We have the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse, and Mercury will be retrograde with Rahu, the north node of the moon, in the nakshatra of Mars, or the nakshatra ruled by Mars. So Mars stands out as really significant here in being the only planet that's in its direct motion. June will be a tougher month, and as we then have 4 out of 5 planets retrograde from June 17th to the 25th, during this time on the 21st, there will be a solar eclipse on the solstice. The retrograde energy makes everything more tense and the pressure is really building, and it could certainly be felt a lot stronger. It's similar to a pressure cooker that collects recycled energy that is seeking an outlet. So when the eclipse happens in June, that will be the time of a major release of this pent-up energy as we reach a climactic time of the year. With all of these retrogrades, it's important to know that it's really nothing to fear. It's just a time of change and readjustment. So be adaptable, be flexible, and find your peace from within. Practice self-control, containment, patience, and persistence through these challenges. It's very important. So in conclusion, basically everyone will be seeing the effects of the retrograde appear in their lives. For Taurus, Libra, Capricorn, Aquarius, Sagittarius, and Pisces, especially in May, we will feel the extra pressure as their ruling planets are retrograde. And then also in June, you have Gemini and Virgo that also have their ruling planet is then going retrograde. So everyone is pretty much feeling the intensity of this energy right now. So it's really wise not to overdo anything. And then on the other hand, it's also good to not underdo anything. Try to find a balance. Really, that's where like a healthy practice and a healthy mindset is finding the balance within everything. So with Saturn retrograde, we may have to do menial tasks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times until we actually get it right. Saturn is asking us to get it right, do it correctly. Venus retrograde can complicate relationships and finances. Again, finding a balance is key here, and coming up with new creative ways to solve problems will also help. So Jupiter retrograde then asks us to redefine what it is that we believe and what we are placing importance on in our lives concerning our values and our judgments. Do everything well, do everything to the best of your ability, and use discretion at this time.